Well, we have focused on quite a few things over the last 8 years. I think number one for our citizens is jobs, job creation. With that, we have a lot of things tied up in it. We have done a summit last year on workforce development. Last April, I led a summit that was here in Jackson. We talked about workforce development. We talked about brain drain. We would also have funding of K-12 and community colleges tied up in that. So that's a broad umbrella. When you say job creation, you include a lot of things with that. But I think that's the number one issue for the people of our state. Other things that are on the horizon are health care. A lot of issues there to be addressed. Infrastructure, education, the correction system, of course, is having some issues right now. So I think all of those things are certainly on the radar screen. We're going to work on many of those things among others.
On healthcare, you have been in the past non-committed to any Medicaid expansion of any kind whatsoever. Is that still your fundamental?
Still my position. Many people
votes?
use the term Medicaid reform. I don't know what they mean by that. I'm open-minded. I will listen to ideas. In the traditional use of the term Medicaid expansion, though, I have not been for that. I don't have people calling me saying, hey, I wish you'd put more people on Medicaid. So I'm open to ideas. We'll be willing to listen, but that's something, I guess, depends on how you define it. We'll see what proposals people have.
Given the timing of these issues with MDOC, do you think that it at all shifts what the priorities are, or what kind of has to forcibly be addressed this session?
Well, as I understand it, this is certainly an urgent situation. I know Governor Bryant has been on the job in the last week addressing it. I have had briefings from him yesterday. I've got another meeting here today with him. I know that there's quite an urgent situation. From what I understand, they have got the situation under control for the moment, but there are a lot of issues moving forward that we'll have to address.
Any idea who you'd like to see take over MDOC?
Oh, that's not my decision. That'll lie with the new governor, and we'll hope that there'll be somebody who will be able to handle all of these issues and more.
Legislatively, does there need to be a renewal of legislative oversight on these various agencies, including the Mississippi Department of Corrections?
Well, any agency, whether it's the Department of Corrections, Department of Public Safety, the Health Department, they have agency heads. We are a legislature that does not meet year-round. So you have these agency heads that are responsible for the day-to-day operations of those agencies. We trust the information they provide us. The decisions we make are only as good as the information we have. So it does at some point fall on them to make sure that they are handling their business correctly, that they are providing us with good information. The decisions we make are only as good as the information we have. So hopefully we will have great lines of communication with all the agency heads in the next 4 years and be able to address all of them.
Any bills you're looking at introducing?
Yes, as I said earlier, we did a workforce development summit last April. I did a brain drain summit in December. We took some information from those summits, and we're going to put that in the form of bills for the job creation issue that I mentioned. We are looking at the teacher pay. Obviously, that's a function of how much money we have to put toward that. Just as a matter of perspective, one $1,000 pay raise is about $75 million added to the budget. So we have to contemplate that. That's not a one-time expense either. That's now and forevermore. So you've got to factor in just how much the citizens of this state can afford. We have to keep reminding ourselves the citizens of the state bear all of these expenses. So we have to keep in mind what can the citizens afford and make sure we don't overspend.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that jobs creation bill?
Yes, there were two things that came out of the workforce summit that I held last April. One was the work keys. For those of you that don't know, work keys is equivalent to the ACT. The ACT is a test we give to high school juniors, preparing for college. Work keys is the equivalent, but it's to test them for career technical type jobs. One of the things that we've done in the past is pay for the ACT for high school juniors. So we're proposing to do that same thing for the work keys. We also are going to look at dual enrollment, true dual enrollment, where students get credit for taking career technical type classes that help them towards getting out and getting a job more quickly. Those are two of the highlights. Yes, sir.
Is the House Ethics Committee still going to investigate Doug McLeod and those allegations of domestic violence?
That has been turned over to the Ethics Committee. Obviously, we'll have a new Ethics Committee that is yet to be named, so they will consider what to do there.
Would you push for them to? Would you want
That
them
is
to?
for them to decide.
Okay.
Will you all take up that challenge in DeSoto County? Forgive me, I don't know the representative.
Yes, Representative Henley filed an election contest. Yes, under the rules, I have to name a committee. I will name that committee today at the end of the session. It is 5 members. There has to be 1 member from each of the 4 congressional districts. So I have already, and 1 member at large for a total of 5. I've already picked that committee. They will be named at the end of the session today. They will meet today under the law. They have to meet today. They basically will just take that contest and consider it and read it and decide how to proceed.
Have you made any assumptions?
No, I have not studied it. That will be for them to do and evaluate the basis upon which she makes that contest.
Is there a timeline that they're operating under in terms of how soon
No,
they need
there's
to-
no timeline that I know of. I think they, the last one we had 4 years ago, I don't know, it took a few days, a couple of weeks maybe before they resolved it. So I think they are free to take as much time as they need to gather information, subpoena witnesses, gather documents, and come to whatever conclusion they think is right and proper.
The Senate looks like it's moving towards live streaming a number of committee hearings. Is that something the House is moving towards as well, or where do you stand on that?
Well, we have not really looked at the number, the cost of doing that. I think the Senate is running to, from what I can understand, and here again, I haven't had conversations with Everett about this, but I think they've run into the consideration of great expense in doing that. Everything we do on the House floor, all the votes that we take are available on the internet. They're live streamed. Candidly, I've not had a great hue and cry for live streaming committee meetings. Most of the people who are interested in the committee meetings are in the committee room. So I'm not saying we can't do that. We may look at something about putting live streaming in some of our larger committees, some of the larger committee rooms, but that purely is a function of cost and cost-benefit analysis. And is there a cry for doing that versus the cost? I think the Senate is running, from what I can understand, running into a great cost factor with that. So I don't know. We will look. I guess we'll see how they do on their end. Take a lesson from them. We won't reinvent the wheel. We'll let them go down that road first.
How about better advertising committee meetings in terms of more detail about what may be considered that day? Because a lot of times those things are only kind of posted pretty late in the game, and then you don't really know what a given committee might be considering.
Well, every bill that's filed goes on the website and the committee to which it is assigned. So no one can claim that they don't know that a bill is out there or that a bill has been submitted to a committee. The chairman of each committee makes up the agenda for the day. Some bills they don't even bring out of committee, some that they do. That's the prerogative of the chairman. They do produce an agenda each day before they meet, and the bills are readily available. Every day, and y'all may or may not know this, but there's a white sheet of paper that's put on the desks out here, and I think it's available in the clerk's office, called House Introductions, or Bill Introductions, I think is what it's called. And it lists every bill that has been introduced. So the information is available for people to look at, read. It's on the website, it's on the computer. It's available if people want it.
Your counterpart, my last question. Your counterpart, Dylan Holzman, if you will, visited Parchment Sunday. Any plans now or ever to visit Parchment?
I have visited Parchment in the past, and not recently, not since all of this turmoil has arisen, but I have been up there before, taken a tour, seen the facilities. I'm sure we will have a group that will go up there and do the same thing. In fact, just this day I had a conversation with some of my members about expressing a desire to go up there and see it. So I'm sure we will in the few days to come.